Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into my college football best bets for week number 6, where I go through my best picks for the coming weeks. And we are on to week number 6, and we have a Friday game to kick it off. Nebraska -3 at Rutgers. Guys, this is a parity game. Nebraska currently is 2-3. Rutgers is 3-2. Honestly, I think Nebraska, just straight up is significantly better than Rutgers. They got a big win last week at home versus Indiana, and people really underestimate how bad Rutgers is. They genuinely do not have a quarterback. They were horrible against Ohio State. They couldn't even throw. The only way they scored was due to an Ohio State muffed punt. Take Nebraska, building a little bit of momentum with Mickey Joseph. Friday night game, -3. Rutgers, people don't realize they're just horrible this year again. Number 2, Arkansas +6.5 at Mississippi State. Guys, overall, this is just a value play. Mississippi State, after their major home win, they're going to come down a little bit. Even if they win this game, I'm thinking 3 points, maybe 6 points. Arkansas will cover. Of course, Arkansas last week, they ended up getting crushed by Alabama. But that was a very close game late in the third quarter, 28-23. Arkansas needs to shore up their run defense. But against this Mississippi State team, due to the value, Arkansas back on track. They play a little bit better. They cover this spread. Mississippi State coming off a great game. They come back down to earth. We get a little equal, and Arkansas covers the 6.5-point spread. Number 3, Georgia Southern at Georgia State. I'm going with the under 66. Both of these teams score a lot. Both of them allow a lot of yards. But guys, every week I do this. I take one of these noon snooze fests, which is what I think this game will be. It's going to be a close matchup. A lot of people taking Georgia Southern +2 in this one. I'll just take the under. I'm seeing like a 31-28 type game. That's under 60 points, let alone 66. All the models love the under significantly. Take the under 66 in this noon kickoff matchup. Number 4, Oklahoma +6.5 versus Texas. So guys, I totally understand people not wanting to bet on Brett Venables. I just think it's too good of a value. When you look at this Texas team, it was a great win against West Virginia. They're probably getting Quinn Ewers back. Quinn Ewers, for as good as he played in the first quarter against Alabama, very limited sample size. As long as Dylan Gabriel is back and playing, I like Oklahoma plus the 6.5. When these teams play, the games are always really close. You would think at some point Oklahoma's defense would step up. Even if they lose this game to Texas, it's going to be like a field goal game. To me, there is good value on Oklahoma plus the 6.5. Maybe a little overreaction to how bad Oklahoma is playing. But I do understand if you just want to steer clear of Oklahoma because of the Brett Venables situation. We thought that Oklahoma was going to have a major bounce back last week, and it was disgusting. That's why I'm trying to grab them here, maybe get a little bit good value. If Texas was -3.5 here, I would not bet it. But because, Oklahoma is 6.5-point dogs, I like the value and I like them covering that spread. Number 5, Buffalo +2 at Bowling Green. I guess maybe because they're on the road, that's why, they're underdogs. But it's crazy to me how Bowling Green is the favorite in this matchup. Bowling Green barely beat Akron by 3 points last week. I love Buffalo very easily to cover this spread and win this game outright. So give me Buffalo. I got one with Buffalo last week where I think I took them +1 and they ended up winning the game. I really like Buffalo, and I think they're underrated by Vegas. +2 at Bowling Green, who barely beat Akron. Yeah, I'll take Buffalo. Number 6, Ohio -11 versus Akron. So this is a situation where Akron is straight up horrible. And, sometimes a lot of success when it comes to betting on college football is betting against really bad teams. Akron is really bad. Ohio is good enough at home to win a game like this. I would say like 42-10, 42-17, and very easily, comfortably cover the 11-point spread. We're betting on a team being very bad. Akron is horrible. Ohio is good enough. They've proved it. Ohio will cover the 11-point spread. Liberty -26 at Umass. So Liberty is on the road. I actually think Liberty's coming off a bye week here, But guys, it's a very similar model. Umass is horrific. Umass just covered last week, which tells me they're due for a really bad game. They're not going to cover 2 weeks in a row. They're a horrible team. They cover against Eastern Michigan when they were 20-point underdogs. They nearly won that game. Liberty is a good team. They're underrated. They're going to win this game 42-7. They will easily cover against UMass. Very similar betting strategy. Akron is horrible. UMass is horrible. Bet against them this week. And both those teams covered last week, by the way, so they're due for a bad game. Wisconsin at Northwestern, I'll take the under 44. So not a ton of wiggle room here, but I do like that it's 44. Both of these offenses are not good. The defenses, especially Jim Leonard taking over there, they're going to play inspired for Wisconsin. Northwestern has a horrible offense. Love me the under here. Possibly even if it's like 27-17, I believe the under would, or maybe it would push. It's just a situation where, in my opinion, the number is not small enough at 44. If you made it 42, I would really have to think about it. But Wisconsin, they're going to play inspired, especially their defensive coordinator taking over as head coach. I see Wisconsin winning this game against a horrible Northwestern team, but it's going to be a sluggish, maybe 20-13 type win. Number 9, Toledo at Northern Illinois, the over 59. Northern Illinois just had an offensive explosion. Toledo has the best quarterback in the MAC. This game is due to go over. It's going to be very close. Great value in the over 59. This game's over-under should be like 64 or 65, in my opinion. Over 59 is good value. Number 10, Vanderbilt. I love them, plus 18 versus Ole Miss at home. So, guys, Ole Miss is a team that they're due for a letdown after their major home win. Now they go on the road against a horrible, horrible Vanderbilt team. They're, going to get caught a little bit. They're going to win this game 30-20, but Vandy will keep it close in the first half. People will be like, what's going on? We know Vanderbilt's bad, but they're not as bad as they have been in the previous years. They will fight, they will claw, and they will cover the 18-point spread against an Ole Miss team who probably won't want to be there. Moving on to some bonus bets. Number 11, we've got Arizona State. I love them, plus 14 versus Washington. I also love the over in this game, guys. The over-under, I think, is 54. I love this game. Higher scoring. Washington is a team. People might have overreacted a little bit to their Week 3 win against Michigan State. We understand now Michigan State's not a good team. Give me Arizona State, who played well against USC last week, and they do have a good offense, in a home game, 4 o'clock, 1 Pacific. Rockin' crowd, I will take them plus 14. Energized. Number 12, Ohio State minus the 25.5 at Michigan State. I expect this line to be 4 touchdowns by kickoff on Saturday afternoon. Michigan State is simply a horrible matchup for Ohio State. It was the same thing last year where Ohio State scored 49 points in the first half. They just have a horrible pass defense. And really right now, Michigan State has both a horrible defense and a bad offense. So it's just a horrible combination right now. I love the Buckeyes to easily cover the 25.5 and drop possibly 50 points. Hopefully Trevion Henderson is back. Maybe JSN is back, but still, I like the Buckeyes big in just a horrible matchup for Michigan State, even though they are at home and winning by 25.5 or more. Number 13, Western Kentucky plus 6.5 at UTSA. So Western Kentucky loses to Troy. Now they're on the road at a good team. I still like Western Kentucky this year. Close game. This is going to be a high-scoring game. UTSA is good, but give me Western Kentucky with the overall value plus 6.5. They didn't cover last week. They lost. They're due. Give me Western Kentucky plus the 6. Next, we've got Georgia Tech plus 3 versus Duke. This is another parity game. I believe Georgia Tech is 2-3. Duke is 3-2. In my opinion, Georgia Tech wins this game straight up. And, Georgia Tech, they just fired their coach. They got a major win over Pittsburgh. Now they come home. They've got a lot of energy. They've got an underrated defense. They win this game outright over a Duke team who has no business being 3-2. Number 15, Louisiana Tech minus 2 versus Utep. Utep's offense is just horrible. I can't see them winning again. And Louisiana Tech maybe a little bit better than their 1-3 record, in my opinion. This is another one of those parity games that I like. I will take Louisiana Tech minus the 2. UTEP, horrible offense. They had a really good week last week. They're due for a letdown. Louisiana Tech will win and they will cover the 2-point spread. Army plus 16.5 at Wake Forest. So Wake Forest coming off their major win at FSU, maybe a little letdown. You're facing a 1-3 team at home. Army loves to run the ball. They get maybe 1 or 2 time-consuming 7 or 8 minute drives. Suddenly it's a close game in the middle of the third quarter. I like Wake Forest to win this game and sneak it out, but Army is great value plus the 16.5. Wake Forest, kind of a letdown after the big win. You come home, the crowd, there's going to be no energy. You're facing a bad team. It will be closer than expected. Number 17, Iowa at Illinois. I'll take the under 35.5, so there's not much wiggle room here, but it is still good value. This game I would project, something like 16-13, 17-13, maybe, 13-10. Both of these defenses extremely good. Both offenses very, very limited. The one thing you cannot have when we're dealing with an over-under that's this low is defensive touchdowns. We need to keep those at a minimum. As long as those do not happen, limit the turnovers, punt the football, make these offenses have to drive 70 yards down the field to score a touchdown. The under will hit. There's not a lot of wiggle room, but it is still technically good value because realistically, I would say if you look at the computers, the over-under should probably be 32 or 33. Now, they're not going to do that because then everyone would just take the over. But still, there is technically good value on the under, but it is risky. Number 18, Arizona plus the 12.5 versus Oregon. I love Arizona's offense. Oregon has been covering like crazy. At some point, you'd have to think they would lose or at least not cover. This is the week I think it happens. Arizona is at home. 12.5 is decent value. I will take that. Number 19, San Diego State minus the 20 versus Hawaii. So this is, again, just betting against a horrible, horrible team. Hawaii is just terrible. They are one of the 2 or 3 worst teams in FBS. San Diego State, not good either, but I will take San Diego State maybe to win this game. Even if they win 30-7, they're covering, but Hawaii is just so bad. And then finally, we've got Stanford plus the 7 versus Oregon State. Guys, trust David Shaw. Stanford right now, I believe they're 0-4 against the spread. They're due for a win. Oregon State is 4-1 against the spread. They're due for a loss. Put 2 and 2 together. Stanford covers the plus 7. They might even win this game straight up. Oregon State dealing with major turnover problems. Expect Stanford at home, get some momentum early in that game, possibly go ahead, even without E.J. Smith. I like Stanford to cover the 7. Guys, those are my top 10 best bets for college football week number 6. That is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.